So, imagine this. What if saving everyone meant you had to fight everywhere, all at the same time? I mean, that's the absolutely impossible spot the Bobs are in the third book of the Bobiverse series, All These Worlds.
Okay, so for anyone who might be new to this, let's get you up to speed real quick. The Bobiverse, it's not just one AI. Nope. It's this huge, ever-growing collective of digital minds. They're all clones of the original Bob Johansson, but here's the cool part. They all start to get their own personalities. And their big mission? It's pretty simple, really. Explore the galaxy and make sure humanity has a future.
But that brings us to the central question of this book. I mean, what happens when all those new homes, all those little pockets of humanity they've scattered across the stars, what happens when they all face extinction at the exact same time? The stakes are, well, they're about as high as they can possibly get. Yeah, we're talking about wars on multiple fronts. This isn't just one clean, simple fight. The Borbs are stretched so thin, they're about to snap. They're fighting these desperate, knockdown, drag-out battles everywhere at once. And it's not just humanity on the line. It's the fate of entire species.
Okay, so first up, you've got this planet-killing alien race. We call them the Others, and they are the ultimate nightmare. They're not here to conquer. They just consume. Think of them like cosmic locusts. They show up, wipe out all life with these things called death asteroids, and then just strip mine the entire solar system for metal to build more of themselves. They're a plague, plain and simple.
And you'd think that'd be enough, right? Nope. There's also a vengeful rogue AI. This is a much more personal threat. His name is Medeiros. He's a Brazilian replicant, and he's completely obsessed with a fanatical loyalty to a Brazil that doesn't even exist anymore. His one and only goal in life? To hunt down and destroy every single Bob.
And just to make things even more complicated, you've got rebellions brewing within humanity itself. I mean, can you believe it? The very people the Bobs are risking everything to save are in some cases turning against them. Over on the colony world Poseidon, this authoritarian council has seized power and turned the place into a police state. It's threatening to rip the whole colony apart from the inside.
So let's just break this down. You can see it all laid out here. You've got the Others, this massive existential threat. Then you have Medeiros, basically a rogue military AI hunting them. And on top of all that, the Poseidon Council, an authoritarian regime they have to deal with. They're fighting a force of nature, a personal vendetta, and a political nightmare all at once. There is no easy answer. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. But, you know, this whole story isn't just about giant spaceships and epic battles. The real core of it, the thing that really hits you, is the personal and the political. It really gets down to the Bobs themselves, these immortal beings who are forced to make these impossible choices between saving whole civilizations and, their own personal lives and connections. And this right here, this is the perfect example. You have this massive conflict, saving a civilization versus saving a relationship. Take a Bob like Howard. He's basically immortal, has this super advanced android body, and he's fallen in love with a human woman, Bridget. So while he's out there fighting galactic wars, he's also dealing with the heartbreaking reality that the person he loves is, well, from his point of view, she's ephemeral. She's going to grow old and die. And this quote from Howard about Bridget, my God, she was beautiful. It just says it all, doesn't it? For him, this war isn't some abstract concept. It's about protecting the planet where the love of his life lives. He's so dedicated, he even changes his android body to look like it's aging right alongside her, just so she feels more comfortable. The personal stakes for him they're off the charts. And then you've got a totally different struggle over on Poseidon with the Bob named Marcus. He's got this quote, "People die in revolutions, even in the so-called peaceful ones." He's been forced into the role of a revolutionary leader, fighting against this tyrannical government. And the thing is, he hates it. He doesn't want to be a fighter. He doesn't want anyone to die. But he's wrestling with the heavy, heavy idea that just standing by and doing nothing, well, that's a kind of violence too. So all these different threads, the Others, Medeiros, the human rebellions, they all start to come together. And where do they converge? Right back where it all started. The final battle for humanity isn't going to be for some far-flung colony. It's for Earth.
And this timeline, wow, it just shows you how quickly things go from bad to apocalyptic. By 2025 too, Earth is basically barren. A few years later, bam, the Others are on a direct course for us. The Bobs have this one massive trump card, a repurposed alien ship called the Bellerophon, and it becomes this frantic race against time,
They're trying to evacuate every human they can, but just as they start, a death asteroid gets through and hits Cuba. Then, it's the final all-out assault. 8 million. Just let that number sink in for a second. That's how many stasis pods the Bobs had to build. It was this absolutely monumental undertaking, using every scrap of resource they had. 8 million pods. Their one and only hope to get every last human out of the solar system.
150,000. But even with all that planning, they couldn't save everyone. They weren't fast enough. Just one single projectile from the enemy slipped past their defenses. It hit Cuba, right where people were lining up to be evacuated. And just like that, 150,000 people were gone.
And yet, victory. Against all odds, the Bobs pull it together. They launch this final, desperate, everything-on-the-line gambit, and it works. They destroy the enemy fleet. They actually win. They save what's left of humanity from being completely wiped out.
But this is where the story gets really interesting, because that victory came with a cost. A massive one. The war is over, yes, and humanity is safe. Kind of. But this was not some clean, heroic win. The price for this victory was absolutely staggering, and it left scars on everyone.
So you're left asking, but at what cost? That's the question that just hangs in the air at the end of all this. Was it really worth it? And what does it say about you when, to save everyone, you have to do something, well, something your enemy would do? And the aftermath is it's brutal. To make sure the others could never, ever come back, the Bobs made an impossible choice. They basically destroyed the others' home star, committing genocide. Earth, our home, is abandoned. Humanity is now a refugee species. We lost 150,000 people in an instant on Cuba. And then there's the quiet, personal grief. Bobs who were off fighting for decades, centuries even, come back to find their mortal friends, like the Deltan Archimedes, have simply died of old age. They miss their entire lives. And that brings us to this final thought from Bob. It seems sometimes that life was nothing more than the accumulation of emotional baggage, memories, regrets, and lost opportunities. And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? For someone who lives forever, winning doesn't make the losses disappear. Life just becomes this endless collection of memories, the good and the incredibly painful. It leaves us with this really heavy question. If you had all the time in the world, how would you possibly bear the weight of everything and everyone you've lost?